Hey guys, a massive hello from Bristol Temple Meads. I'm taking the cross-country, not this one behind me by the way, the cross-country service down to Exeter. It's going to be on a class 43, so I'm really looking forward to that. And it's the third train today of a journey that I'm doing, which is going to span 3 days. Once I get to Exeter, I'll be taking the Great Western Railway service in first class to Penzance. And then later on in the day, I'll be heading back to London Paddington on the Night Riviera sleeper. Anyway, tomorrow I'm going to be taking a National Express bus back to Bristol, believe it or not. I did promise I'd do that again, and so being true to my word, I think it's going to be better than the previous one I took. And then from there I will be heading back up to Shrewsbury and then on to Holyhead with the Transport for Wales new Mark IV coaches there, Gerald for Wales, although I believe it's not actually the full service as yet. And when I get to Holyhead, I'll be taking the relatively new Stena ferry service from there up to Belfast. That's the overnight. I've got a lovely deluxe cabin for that. And then on Saturday morning, I will be making my way to Belfast City Airport and taking a flight from there with Aer Lingus on one of their A320s back over to Birmingham, and then I'll be catching the train and finally back to Shrewsbury later on Saturday afternoon. So I hope you can join me for all these trips. We'll be making videos of them along the way. Let's try the cross-country one out first, and I will see you when I get to Exeter. Okay, and here she comes, 43208, and I'll tell you what, I really like the colour of these cross-country trains at the front. I'm not sure what colour it is, maybe aubergine, and then it turns into this silver colour for the carriages, which is not so good, I guess. I boarded the train in first class so I could show you what it was like. Nice and quiet. I had the usual "you shouldn't be here" stares off the one or two passengers that were in there. A nice colour scheme again with the antimacassars on the seats and matching curtains on the windows. I'm not sure what the food offering was like, but yeah, maybe I'll try this one day.
Oh, fine, mate. That's all right. Brilliant. Sorry, pal. That's all right.
And talking about food, there was an onboard shopping coach B, and it was announced it was open and selling all the usual stuff, including alcohol, by the way. Anyway, I made my way through to standard class, which was busier but by no means crowded. And importantly, the temperature inside the carriage was just about right, and not too hot, not too cold. And after fussing about for a bit, I eventually found a seat to enjoy the views as we left Bristol Temple Meads right on time. Well, to be honest, the scenery is pretty flat, and I guess it's not called the Somerset Levels for nothing. But I think the most exciting part of the journey was shortly after Taunton, where an alarm started sounding through the train. Well, I didn't film this, but it turned out somebody was stuck in the toilet. The train manager ably assisted and the drama was averted. So let's have a look at the seating area, shall we? And as you can see, I was sitting in a priority seat reserved for less mobile passengers. And obviously I would have moved if somebody less able required this seat. But I guess they're earmarked for this due to their proximity to the doors. I'm not sure there's any other difference, but yeah, please let me know if there's more to it than that. The seat itself was fine. I love the big curved headrest, and it was really comfortable for what can be some very long journeys with cross country. I mean, this particular train had come down from Edinburgh and was heading for Plymouth. It's a fair distance, that, isn't it? There's the usual armrest, which I tend not to use, as I like to spread out across the two seats, to be honest. Power is supplied by conventional plug socket only, so remember to bring one. And the fold-down table was clean, which is the main thing these days, isn't it? And it was worth noting that someone did come through, collecting all the rubbish soon after we'd left Bristol Temple Meads. Legroom is great in these carriages as well. Overall, I was really impressed by the comfort in standard class on this train, and with the bright and spacious seating areas, it's so much nicer than the Voyager trains, don't you think? And now onto the Wi-Fi. Well, it was available, and not too onerous to go through the sign-up procedure. I tried YouTube, which I wasn't really expecting to work, and sure enough it didn't. But I was able to get onto some social media, and it loaded up pictures reasonably quickly. One of the better Wi-Fi experiences I've had recently, and perfectly fine really.
Yeah, it could be totally different. It could be like sort of like version evolution. Yeah.
So on to the loo review, and yeah, another large accessible toilet area. A long narrow mirror on the one side, and just push button locking, which always makes me nervous, but hopefully it does its job. A big mirror above the sink, and a baby changing table next to that. The soap and water was available, and hand towels were provided instead of a hand dryer. Now I'm beginning to have second thoughts about my preference for hand towels, because obviously they can create litter, and if the bin isn't emptied regularly, as in this case, it can cause a mess. Overall though, it was clean where it mattered, especially the baby changing unit. I would just make sure when changing babies that you end up with one that you want, as you can't ask for your old baby back later. It's in the T's and C's apparently. Okay then guys, and that was Bristol Temple Meads to Exeter St David's with cross country. Not the most exciting route in the world, I've got to say, but fortunately I was able to do it in a classic Class 43 HST locomotive. A bit of a dying breed, to be honest, these days. So yeah, it was really enjoyable from that perspective. So thanks for watching. I'm going to be here now for about 20 minutes and I'm going to be catching a train down to Penzance. That's leg 2 of my journey, so hope you enjoy me for that. Thanks for watching this one, and until the next time guys, cheers for now.